Good morning, everyone. This is Christopher D. Greif. The time is now 10:05 a.m. Once again, welcome to another family support provider information. Can I please remind everyone to please keep your devices on muted, please, so we don't have echo or background noises. Once again, welcome everyone. Reminding everyone before we proceed, and forgive me if the screen's a little messy a little bit, but you know what? That happens on the graphic world. Reminding everyone, as I said this again and 1,000 million times, please keep your microphones on mute. And I want to remind everyone that because we don't need interruptions or worries that I can't hear the person. The microphone is for you to speak, not to hear. The reason is that's why if your speakers are not up, please check your volume levels and make sure they're up. Second, if you're using your camera, that is fine. Please note that the panel number is incorrect. We have a little more attendance because we have groups are in this meeting as well. Other reminders that also if you have a question after the presentation, please use your hand raise or the chat button. As a reminder, everyone, it is important to please keep this meeting and all other meetings in order, fashion, and show courtesy, respect to the person. Please keep your microphones on muted. If you have a question, please put it into the chat. If it's a private question, please put it to the private sector. As a reminder, closed caption is available in your menu, which is, you see, maybe it's on my end, but it is available on your screen. So please make sure that you follow these instructions. As a reminder, if you have an announcement before this meeting started, we ask everyone to please put your announcements into the chat. We will be doing announcements later on. As a reminder, please email your announcements to that email address in the bottom. This is the agenda for today. Please remind yourselves that this is we do follow schedule and on time, try to do the best time performance. Now, it is like to introduce our co-chairs, Deborah Greif, parent co-chair, as well as Rose Sal, provider co-chair. Ladies, it's all for you.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Family Provider Committee meeting. My name is Rose Sauls, and I work at Brooklyn Community Services. I am the co-chair for this committee, as well along with my co-chair, Deborah Greif.
Good morning, everyone.
If it's your first time in the meeting, I just want to reiterate that in this family provider meeting, we really want to collaborate together with care coordination, with the CCOs, together with with provider agency to come to this meeting. We try to create an agenda that is pretty robust to make sure that people are getting their questions answered, as well as families. So if you have any agenda items that you would like to have us discuss in this committee, please, you could always email myself along with Deborah Greif or Christopher Greif as well, so we can put it on the agenda and have a robust conversation. There's a lot happening in the field of the DD field, and we want providers to be involved. We want to hear from all of you. We don't want to keep repeating having the same meetings. We want it to be interactive. We want to see different faces, on Wednesday on this call. Usually we're seeing the same people for the same CCOs. We want to welcome everyone. So if you know of any other provider that you think will benefit from this meeting, please, or family members, encourage them to attend, because the information is for them. We want to keep everyone engaged and active and informed, in this couple of hours of session. Deb, before I start, I don't know, do you have anything before I introduce our guest speaker?
Sure. I just want to. What Rose said is very important. We're doing the committee this way because we parents need to have the information, but we also want the care coordinators who work with us to see that our children get the correct care they need. So that's why today we invited Paola Martinez-Boone from New York Lawyers for Public Interest to talk about, and very important, the questions that we always get about guardianship. because you see, many of our children do need to have guardians or people to oversee and care for them. So we're going to try to do meetings like this because the parents need to know, but we also need to make sure the care coordinator's there, because we as parents are technically the captain of the ship, but we need all the help and assistance because we want to make sure our children who have developmental disability can lead a very full and productive life. So and as Rose says, yes, there are many changes coming through. I hope everyone will be at our joint meeting in 2 weeks, because there will be, we're talking about they changing how reimbursement is being done. But you can read that on the OPWDD or the Advisory Council's website. But from there, I will keep everyone up to date of any changes that are coming through, because as you know, I am the Brooklyn representative to the statewide Family Support Service Advisory Council. So with that, I hope to see everybody in 2 weeks. And with that, Rose, take it away.
All righty, thank you, Deb. So
You're
we are going to move right along with our agenda, and I would like to introduce our guest speaker today, Paula Martinez Boone. I think some of you probably seen her before in prior meetings, because she used to come to when we had MSC to the Book and Deed Council. So she's been around for a while. So she's here today to talk about guardianship, and I'm going to pass the mic on to Paula. Welcome. We are happy to have you here.
Thank you so much. I've been around for a very, very long time. So I gonna go very quickly because this is a very long presentation. And I think I want to point out a few things. One, that I always welcome questions, but I want for everyone that is listening to me today to be careful not to disclose personal information. This is an open forum. Chris says that it's 30 people here. I don't want names. I don't want a day of birth, age. I don't want any of that. If you want general information, I'm happy to answer those questions. If you want answers to personal information, there is a telephone number that you're looking at right there. You can call me. Debbie knows, everyone who knows me for a long time, they know that I answer your telephone calls. You can call me, you can email me, and you can set up an appointment, and I'm more than happy to answer your questions. I give you minimum half an hour, and I answer all your questions. So if you have questions about the content, happy to answer in this forum, general. If you have personal questions, concerns, worries, anxieties, those are personal questions. Call the office and, leave me a message, email me, and I will answer and we'll set up a time, okay? So my name is Paula Martinez Boone. My agency is the New York Lawyers for the Public Interest. We are a non-profit legal organization. We don't charge for any of our services. All our services are for free. We don't have a sliding scale. We don't have catch you if you can. Everything is for free. We've been advocates and legal advocates for people with disabilities for over 45 years. Okay, so it's no catch here. You can call for legal services from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. If you don't have time to call, there is a link right here, nylpa.org, get help, and somebody, will call you and ask you what's your issue, and we will see if we can help you. Next. Chris, next slide. Okay, this refers to the PowerPoint. If you want to have a copy of the PowerPoint, you can. The only thing that we ask you is that you share it in the same format, meaning that you cannot send one slide and leave out the others, because this is property of New York Lawyers. This is our PowerPoint. So if you want to give it to parents, to other agencies, to peers, to whomever, please, you are welcome to do so, but you have to give it in the same format that you are seeing it here. You cannot change anything. You cannot change language. You cannot change the format. Okay, next. This is about New York Lawyers. I'm not gonna talk about my agency, if you want to learn about who we are and the services that we have provided to people with disabilities, is here. You can read it at your own time. You can go to our website. I leave it up to you to learn about who we are and to benefit to our services. Next. I just want to get to, to the what we're here for today. Next. Next. Okay, here. Okay, why do we need to plan? First and foremost, because planning, we need to plan when we're talking about people with disabilities, because for many, many individuals with disabilities, we need to preserve public benefits. For most of you in this forum, we do understand that the payer of adult services is Medicaid. So we need to do everything to preserve Medicaid. It sounds easy, it makes sense, but believe it or not, and a lot of people don't understand that Medicaid is the payers of services. You don't understand how many people call me saying, oh, my mother died and she left my son $50,000 in a bank account, and now my son cannot get Medicaid and he cannot get, adult services. So that's why I include this here, because for many people, it makes sense. For others, believe me, I get those calls. So once again, if you want to preserve Medicaid for adults with disabilities, we need to know how to plan and how to preserve those benefits. The other part is to improve the quality of life of people with disabilities. Doesn't mean that the person with disabilities cannot have money. Yes, people, brother, sister, mom, dad could leave money behind for people with disabilities, and you still can benefit from benefits such as Medicaid, but we need to know where to put that money. We can expand choices for people with disabilities if we know where we're going to leave that money, and we're going to explain quickly how to do that. Next. Okay, how do we start? Of course, if you enroll with OPWDD already, you know that you already have a life plan. The life plan talks about medical, behavioral, social, emotional, vocational. You have a care coordinator, you're already working in a life plan, correct? So we cannot leave things for, something happened to the parents and then we do nothing, hope for the best. We need to plan. We need to plan. What's going to happen to my child if I'm no longer here? That's what we talk about guardianship. That's what we talk about support decision making. We talk about life insurance. We talk about for those parents who have a job, what's going to happen with my pension plan. And we're going to cover all that in here today. Think about what you have. A lot of people think, well, if my child is going to be a beneficiary of Medicaid, then I cannot leave something behind. Wrong. I'm going to explain why. Next. Okay, this is what I'm going to talk about in the process of future planning. Now, this is as regards of future planning in terms of financial and decision making. Next. Okay, the basic that I talk to people is let's start lightly. Letters of intent. A letter of intent is not a legal document. However, what letter of intent provides is a roadmap about your loved one with disabilities. It talks about the life of a person with disabilities. It talks about describe the needs, the wants, what happens when your child, for example, if your child is still a school age, when the child comes from school, the routine, the medications, the name of the doctors, the family members that are close by, the neighbors, everything about your child in a day. Why the letter of intent is important? Because we don't know if we can get sick in one day. We're still in a pandemic. You might be sitting at home and that day, if it's only you and your child, that day you might be feeling sick? What about if your child is nonverbal, not able to take care of himself or herself? What happens if you need to knock on the neighbor's door and your neighbor doesn't know what to do with your child that day while you go to the hospital? And that neighbor doesn't have anything to follow. So if you write a letter of intent, which is a document that says, well, my child, watch TV, he eats at 3 o'clock, he likes cereal, he watch, Looney Tunes, all that is important at that moment. At that very moment, you need to go to the hospital while, that neighbor calls the father or calls your sister or calls grandma, somebody. So this is a guideline for somebody in a case of emergency that needs to help you while somebody else come and care for your child. This is not guardianship. This is not a legal document. This is a document that you create and give to several people in case that something happens to you and you need somebody to help you right there in there. This is no long term. This is just quickly in an emergency, and you can, create many of them. You can update it and all that, because if you have a child that cannot communicate their needs at that moment, you want someone that could read this paper or have this paper ready to help you immediately. This is really basic. We're not talking about a legal document here, but it's a document that seems to be very, very helpful in a moment of an emergency where you're not feeling well, a moment in which you need to quickly go somewhere to take care of yourself while somebody else could come to the house and help you with your child, okay? Next. Okay, now I'm gonna get a little bit more in the trenches of the definitions relating to capacity, because it seems to be a lot of confusion about who's a capacitated person or who is an incapacitated person. So capacity under New York State law is everyone who is 18 years of age. Everyone who turns 18 is presumed to have decision-making capacity. An incapacitated person is a person who is impaired by reason of mental illness or mental deficiency to the extent that she or he lacks sufficient capacity to manage her or his affair. A ward is a person for whom a guardian is appointed. Now the word here, the key word here is appointed. A guardian is a person who has been appointed by the court. So if you are calling yourself a guardian, it's because you already went to a process and you were appointed. Surrogate decision maker is an individual who is authorized by the law or who is in fact making a decision by another. The Family Healthcare Decision Act provides a process for a surrogate decision maker to make end-of-life decisions on behalf of someone who lacks capacity. So this is like some definitions here that we're gonna be using for you to understand when we're talking about capacity on incapacitated person. Next. So evaluating decision-making capacity. So how do we do that? So first, by exploring decisions an individual has made or is facing. That's one of how can we evaluate decision-making capacity. The second one is important. We need to balance respect for the individual's self-determination and protection of his or her well-being. And this is the one that a lot of people struggles, because we may have individuals who are able to express their decisions, and we need to respect that, but also balance that with the protection of their well-being. And that sometimes becomes a kind of a difficult exercise to do. We have individuals with disabilities that are able to tell you, this is what I want. And at the same time, we need to make sure that those decisions are not self-harming decisions. So we need to balance that, okay? The predetermination of decision-making capacity prior of an event presents serious problems. The ability to give informed consent or to make a contract must be separately determined. What this means is that is when a contract is presented to you, legal contract presented to you, that's not the time to decide if a person has capacity or not. Capacity needs to be determined way before a contract is presented to you, okay? So if you are in doubt in terms of the level of capacity of an individual with disabilities, I will strongly suggest to you that you talk to the individuals who are treating your loved one with disabilities about their level of capacity, for you to have that information ahead of time so you have clarity about the level of capacity of your individual, your loved one with disabilities. That's a conversation that needs to happen. I assure you, if you have a loved one with disabilities, there have been a lot of evaluations, a lot of assessments, a lot of doctor's appointments, a lot of psychologicals that already have been provided to your loved one with disability that could give you good information that you could utilize in terms of determining capacity. Don't wait to be in front of a contract or to be in front of major decisions to decide whether or not what level of capacity your loved one has. That's not the time. So I will encourage you to start doing that homework early on in order to, address level of capacity. Because the fact that a person has a disability doesn't mean that they lack capacity, because everyone is different, and we know that. Working with people with disabilities and being in contact with people with disabilities, we know this. This is not new information, okay? Next, okay. So components of decision-making capacity: ability to communicate a choice, ability to understand relevant information, ability to appreciate the nature of the situation and the likely consequences, and ability to manipulate information rationally. This is not like a full list. Next. And, this is some of the areas in which, we made decisions. Where we're going to live, our social activities, work, training programs, legal action, health, personal. These are the areas in which we all made decisions. Now, all this also to set and to add that sometimes we need to also understand and think that we need to really, really, really pay attention and to understand our loved one with disabilities and how they made their decisions. Sometimes we get stuck in this almost trying for everyone with disabilities to make that perfect decision, when we know as individuals, we're always making mistakes, but then we're expecting our loved one with disabilities not to do the same. And we need to pay attention to that. Everyone makes mistakes, and sometimes we make decisions that are not right either. But then when regarding people with disabilities, we're always trying for them to make the right decision. I mean, they're not making the right decision, then we say, oh, no, that's not the right decision. I'm going to make a decision for you. And we have to steer away from that. Once again, with the caveat that, of course, if it's a dangerous situation, of course not. But once again, this is complex. This is very complex, but we have to realize that not everyone with a disabilities will need someone to always tell them what to do. Okay, so we have to respect that. We have to respect that. Next. Next. Okay, so now we're gonna talk a little bit about the financial piece. And I'm gonna start with the regular trust. I'm gonna simplify what is a regular trust. A regular trust is a tool that people utilize to leave money behind for somebody else. That's a basic trust. If I want to leave money for my children, I create a trust and I will be the grantor. What you see in red, the grantor, meaning I'm gonna put the money to leave money for my children. I create a trust and the grantor. If I also want to manage that trust, I also will be called the trustee. I'm giving the money for the trust. I'm going to manage the trust. So I'm the grantor and I'm also the trustee. The beneficiary is my children who are going to receive the money. So they're going to be the beneficiary. I could put anything on that trust. I could put cash, I could put stocks, I could put bonds, property. I could put anything that's going to benefit my children. So this is a regular trust. Next. So now, what is a supplemental needs trust? A supplemental needs trust is a special trust. And the purpose of this trust is to preserve public benefits. And why is important for us to understand supplemental needs trust? Because we have people with disabilities who they need Medicaid to pay for adult services, especially adult services. So we need to preserve Medicaid, as I said in the beginning. So you can have Medicaid and you could also have a supplemental needs trust. So let's say parents here in this forum, we have parents here and we have agency here working with families, parents who, for example, work, or parents who play the lottery and they win. If they want to leave money behind for their children, they could. They could create a supplemental needs trust. They put the money out and the children still will benefit from Medicaid. The children could benefit from Medicaid and they still create a supplemental needs trust. Okay? If the parents work, there is something called a pension plan. So if you have a pension plan, you can leave the money. You can say, you can create a will, say something happens to me, my pension plan will go to my child supplemental needs trust. So that way your child will still be beneficiary of the of Medicaid and have the money from the pension plan. The only two things that you need to understand from the supplemental needs trust is that it's irrevocable, meaning you cannot change it, and it's discretionary, meaning that the trustee, the manager, have the authority to make or refuse distributions, and that's very important. Now, in terms of the supplemental needs trust, there is two different types of trust, which is the first party and the third party. Next. Now, the first party is funded with the assets of the person with disabilities. So now, how a person with disabilities get money? Number one funder of the first party trust is lawsuits. And this is important for everyone in this forum to pay attention. Because if you're suing anyone on behalf of your child with disabilities, that money is never gonna come under the name of the parents. Parents pay attention, family members pay attention. If you're suing anyone on behalf of your loved one with disabilities, that money is not gonna come to you. It's gonna come under the name of your child with disabilities or adults with disabilities. So if that is your case, you need to speak with your attorney about first party trust, because a first party trust will need to be open so that money goes to a first party trust to benefit the person with disabilities. So that's how a first party trust gets created. Okay, and this is important because people does not know this, and then it gets messy in court, and then they end up calling me because nobody told them that they needed to create a first party trust. And when the case is settled and done in court, it's nothing that you can do because the money never gonna come to you. So be careful. No matter who you're suing, if you're suing a doctor for medical malpractice, if you get in a car accident, if you get hit by a bus, whatever happened to your child with disabilities, if you that money is never gonna come to the parent's name. You need to open a first party trust. And if you open a first party trust, your loved one with disabilities is still gonna be a beneficiary of Medicaid and have this money on the side to do whatever they want with that money. Okay? And that attorney should explain to you how to spend that first party trust money. Okay? Next. I know there are questions, but we can answer that at the end. The third party trust is the one that is funded by parents, grandparents, family members, friends, whomever. And this money is funded either by life insurance, pension plans, money that the family has, any kind of money, stocks, bonds, whatever money the family has, they could leave it behind for the person with disabilities under the third party trust, and it still is not gonna is not gonna influence eligibility for Medicaid. But the same rules apply: irrevocable and discretionary. Once again, it's not gonna. The purpose here is to improve the quality of life of the person with disabilities. Person is still gonna have Medicaid, and it still could have money in the third party trust to do whatever they want with it. I have seen it all. I have seen people with third party trust that the family have remodeled their house to put elevators so they could have privacy. They could have another wing of the house and they could enter the house that way, and by using third party trust money. I have seen people buying a minivan. I have people doing many, many things with third party trust. So if that is the case, that's why people do third party trust. Next. Pool trust. Usually pool trusts are, the purpose of the pool trust is that to keep people with disabilities to continue be eligible for benefits, because sometimes when you go over a little bit of the limit for eligibility, of course, you get kicked off of benefits. So a lot of nonprofits use the pool trust to keep clients under the limit. So they pool the money together. That's why it's called pool. They put the money together from the client, so nobody goes over that amount. So everyone continues to be eligible. It's usually the nonprofits that use that method. Okay, next. Next. Okay, another good way to put money aside for your loved ones with disabilities without interfering with Medicaid is the 529 ABLE account. Great system, by the way. Great system. This is less complex than supplemental needs trust. The ABLE account is in New York State, came, I think, in 2018, I believe, or 2016. And the ABLE account allows families and people with disabilities to put money in this account to save money. It still doesn't interfere with eligibility with Medicaid. These accounts are managed by the New York State Comptroller's Office. They help you to put it together. It's tax deferred. You can put up to $100,000 for the life of the account. People with disabilities actually have jobs. They put money there, and they families too. They also give you the list of things that in which you can spend the money, the extra money that you put there. If you call in the resources page, you will see all the resources that they have. You need to call them. They tell you and they walk you through how to open the account, how to and they manage the account. It eventually will look like a bank account. And for years, this system has been underutilized. So I will encourage you, if you want to put money aside for your loved one, or if you are a person with disability that works and want to save money, this is also a good tool to use. All the resources, telephone numbers, and all that is in the last page of resources. I will encourage you to utilize this account if that's something that you want to do. It's really, really good account on the New York State Comptroller's Office. Next. Next. Okay, so now we're going into the decision-making options for people with disabilities. And I'm giving you a picture of the least restrictive options and the more restrictive options. The less restrictive option, obviously, is the person making their own decisions. And then we have in that side, healthcare proxy, power of attorney, support decision-making. And then the more restrictive is obviously guardianship. And then we have surrogate decision-making. And then we have power pursuant to Family Healthcare Decision Act. Next. Next. Okay, so less restrictive, which is the healthcare proxy. And we're going to start with the healthcare proxy by saying that the individual must have capacity. So if you want to create a healthcare proxy, you must have maintained capacity. You must be a capacitated person, as explained early on. And anyone, not only individuals with disabilities, could have a healthcare proxy. And what it does is allows an individual to name a healthcare agent who will make decisions if an individual cannot make their own. So, for example, if and this is actually done before you get sick. So anyone could prepare a healthcare proxy in advance. So when it takes effect, only after 2 doctors decide that a person no longer has capacity to make decisions on their own. Okay, so I create a healthcare proxy, it's ready. I appoint my husband to make decisions for me, but he's not gonna be able to do that until 2 doctors decide that I no longer has capacity to make decisions on my own. Is, hospitals, nursing homes are usually, where this is where it's utilized. Okay. So, but the key here is I have to have capacity to do this document, to create this document. But it's a really good document to create in advance. So I don't have to wait until I get sick. So people start scrambling about decisions. Very good document to have ready. Next. Power of attorney. Once again, another document good to have, but the individuals, once again, must have capacity. Power of attorney have some changes in December 2020. I'm going to show you what are the changes next. So now, before 2020, there was only one power of attorney. Now we have 2 options. Now we have a springing power of attorney, and that one, the springing, you name an agent in advance, but you don't grant that person any legal authority, decision-making, until you became incapacitated. So you can create it, but you don't grant any legal authority until you become incapacitated. And then you have the old one, which is the durable power of attorney, the traditional one, the one that becomes effective immediately once you sign it. Okay? So the new one is you sign it and becomes only effective when you become incapacitated. And the traditional one is effective immediately. And now the purpose of a power of attorney is for financial purposes. This is, it's a good document, but you have to be careful. You cannot trust anyone with a power of attorney because this is for finances. This is people who will have access to your bank account. This individual is going to have access to your Social Security checks. This is a person who's going to have access to your bills, everything. So this has to be a person that you really, really trust to manage your affairs. So if you're going to have someone, an agent, and you're going to give that person, especially the traditional power of attorney who takes effect immediately, you really, really need to be careful who you give it to, okay? So it's a really good document, but you need to be careful who you give it to. Next. So less restrictive supported decision-making. Supported decision-making came to New York State in 2006. And this actually was a game changer in New York State. It has been in other states for many, many years. And this actually was the difference and kind of fill up the gap between individuals who really have nothing and guardianship, because not everyone with disabilities needed a guardian. And this really came to fill that gap in terms of for a lot of individuals who have enough capacity to make some decisions and needed really support in others. So this really is not a legal document, but it's a process in which you're really, these individuals, this consortium, the supported decision making is really a consortium of different agencies that created this process in which they work with the family and the individual with disabilities to identify the areas in which the individual is capable to make their own decisions and the areas in which they need the most help. And really they create almost like this circle of support in which the individual identify where these type of decisions are really difficult for me to make. So therefore I will need, somebody to be with me and make those decisions, or to clarify information for me. And it's a process. It's not a legal document. It's a process. I actually been in contact with surrogate decision making, and what they suggested to me is that when I talk about surrogate decision making, is that I direct people who are interested in learning about this process, that they go to the surrogate decision maker website and they watch their videos and the testimonials, and they learn about surrogate decision making before they call them, because a lot of the questions and concerns about this process are answers through the videos, testimonials, and all that. So I think in my resource page, you're gonna find the link to their website and also the videos. So if this is something that is of your interest, I would suggest that you look at their website and the videos before you call surrogate decision making to start this process. Because like I said, not everyone with a disability needs a guardian. We have a lot of self-advocates. We have people with disability with different needs. And this really came to fill that gap. Of course, I understand there are people with disabilities who need guardians, but they are a whole group of people with disabilities that they might not need a guardian, and this came to really fill that gap. And it's not a legal document. And really, this is for individuals who able to make decisions on their own, but they have difficulty for other decisions. So, if you're interested in this, this is also another choice. By the way, I am not an advocate for one or the other. I'm just here to provide you with as much information as you want to have, and I respect every family's decision and everything that works for your family. And that's all that I'm doing here, providing you with as much information that I can and I have available to you. And whatever you decide, whatever is good for your family is good for me. Next. There's also surrogate decision-making committee, and this is really for families that have nothing, families that have not worked on anything, and then it comes the time in which there is a decision that needs to be made. And for example, the doctor said we need to do a procedure. Who is the person who's going to sign for these 35-year-old adults with disabilities with not capacity? And nobody have the authority. So what happened is that then they will need to have some kind of authorization. So the hospital will fill out a form with you, with the family, requesting that the surrogate decision-making committee authorize the procedure that they need to do for the individual with disabilities. And this committee will make a decision, and usually takes 14 days. However, I've been told that sometimes it takes less time. So this is another tool, however, it takes time, that you can utilize in case that nothing has been done for this individual that needs some kind of service and nobody is authorized to make decisions. So this is another process that you can use to have a procedure done when there's nobody authorized to do so. Next. I already talked about the Family Healthcare Decision Act. This is like more detail about it. So next. Then we're going to talk about guardianship. Okay. So a guardian is someone appointed by the court to make decisions on behalf of a person with a disability when that person is not capable. And when I say not capable, is in accordance with New York State guidelines of who's a person with who has capacity or who is an incapacitated person. And then a guardian can be appointed to make financial decisions, known as a guardian of the property, or for personal decisions, known as a guardian of the person, or you can apply for both. Now, I want to clarify here, if the person doesn't have anything besides a Social Security check, there is no need to apply for guardianship of the property. If there is nothing under the name of the person with disabilities, no need of apply for guardian of the property. Is only guardian of the person. Next. Okay, for individuals diagnosed with intellectual disabilities, ID, or developmental disabilities, DD, the guardianship is Article 17A guardianship. That's the type of guardianship that you need to apply for. This is not an individualized guardianship. It's broad decision, meaning for everything. This is not like only for this and for that. This is for everything. For everything. This is a take it all guardianship. Requires a court proceeding before the surrogate's court. in the county of residency of the person with disabilities, not of the family. If the person with disability lives in Brooklyn and the family lives in Queens, the process needs to be in Kings County surrogate score. Nobody needs representation here. No need of an attorney. No need of an attorney for this process. There is a need to fill out the paperwork, but no representation. The forms needs to be taken to the court in person. You need to file the petition in person. The forms are available online. So you can fill out the forms in your house, in your own computer. The online forms give you the opportunity to cut and paste, because it's not one form, it's a series of forms. They also provide you with do-it-yourself forms, glossary of terms. Also, if you don't have access to a computer, you can go to the library. Thank you, Carrie Banks from the library. You can go to the library and cut and paste. The forms also have a drop-down menu, so you don't even have to type many of the information. If you are filing as a co-guardians, meaning two individuals, mom and dad, sister and mother, mom and grandma, two best friends, you can do so. You can be co-guardians, but keep in mind that both of you have the same authority. You cannot go and say, oh, I'm gonna sign you for surgery without the consent of the other person. Both of you have to be in agreement for everything. And keep that in mind, please, because I have people calling me because the father wants one thing and the mother doesn't want it. You have to be in agreement for everything, because if you're not in agreement, both of you don't sign, things won't happen. Now, the forms also give you other choices. It could be two co-guardians or one guardian, and then you have another line for a standby guardian, another line for first alternative, and another line for second alternative. You don't have to have all those individuals, but if you have them, you can put them down. Now, if you are the guardian, the standby guardian doesn't do anything until something happens to you. And that means you die or become incapacitated or unable to fulfill your duties as a guardian. Let's say if that happened, if you pass away or you're unable to fulfill your duties as a standby guardian, I think you have either 3 months, about 3 months to go. The standby guardian have like 3 months to go up to the court and show that you pass away or you cannot fulfill those duties and step up as a guardian. Okay? So it's a lot of things. Or even if the standby guardian said, I don't want to be the standby guardian anymore, you can go back to the court and amend the guardianship and take out that person and put somebody else. So it's always, this process also requires for people it's a very invasive process. You're gonna be fingerprinted because the court needs to make sure that you are fit to be a guardian. So it's a court process. So you need to go to court. You're gonna show up in court. Once all is said and done, you're gonna get a decision by mail. Also, keep in mind that not everyone who applies for a guardianship gets the guardianship. Some people get denied. Why people get denied? Because when the judge read the documents, sometimes they say this, when they read the evaluations, they read the information, sometimes they say, this individual does not need a guardian. Okay, I get people calling me about that all the time because they get told, oh, you need a guardianship, you need a guardianship. And when the judge read the paperwork, they get denied. So the fact that you apply doesn't mean that you're gonna get it. I'm just giving you all the for the past 20 years, all the things that I get calls about. Once again, it's a process. Sometimes people get frantic about the process. In New York State, it's meant to be sort of a easy process. I understand it's a legal process. It could be challenging for many people, but I've been doing this for a long time. Parents have done it. Even parents who do not speak English have done it. So if this is something that you must do because your child needs it, I assure you, you're able to do so. Next. There is another type of guardianship. This type of guardianship is a tailored guardianship, meaning that opposed to the 17A guardianship, this is a tailored guardianship in which you can pick and choose the areas in which you're going to make decisions for your loved one with disabilities. Now, if you were a fan of Britney Spears or not, this was the type of guardianship that she had in California. Now, this is a guardianship that is expensive. You need an attorney. It's for mainly for it's used mainly for people who are mentally ill, for elderly, not really typical for people with IDDD, but you can use it too. But the population that I said, which is IDDD, usually this is not the one that people apply for because it costs a lot of money. But I'm presenting you this one because it's also an option. Is that the way that you want to go? And if you have the means to do it, this is another one. Next. And here is the reasons to avoid or to pursue guardianship. Next. These are the locations of all the surrogate score, and also I'm giving you the links to the form. Every link will give you to the links to the core. Next. I think next. These are all the resources that I mentioned. All of them are there in the PowerPoint. Thank you, everyone. I think this is the time which we're gonna open for questions. I want to remind for individuals who enter late that if you're gonna ask me questions, I'm happy to answer them, but this is an open forum. Don't ask me personal questions in terms of your child, the day of birth, or any like that. This is my telephone number. You can call the office and they will relay the message to me and I will call you back next week or during this week, depending on my calendar. Or you can email me or you can also click that link or copy that link and the message will get to me and we can coordinate a time to talk about your particular issue or questions tailored to your particular situation, because I don't want personal information to be aired in this open forum. If you have general questions about process, procedures, or special needs or whatnot, definitely in this forum is fine. But personal information, please know, because I wouldn't want your confidential information to be aired here. But other than that, you know, and everyone who knows me for years, they know that I do answer people's emails and questions and all that. I'm pretty good at that. So I don't know who.
Paola,
Chris,
Paola,
are you handling the
Paola, before we
the chat?
before we start, I want to ask the coaches, do they have questions first? And then I have a lot of questions in the chat for you.
Hi, Paola. I just wanted to thank you for the presentation. This was really great. It's a lot of great information. And I've also noticed some changes from the last time that you did this presentation as well. So I hope the families are informed And if they have any questions, this is their time to put it, in the chat and get to ask you some questions.
Hi, it's Deborah. Your presentation as usual is fantastic. I don't have any questions because I was able to comprehend everything. And I am very pleased that you're also telling everyone not to give out personal information online. I appreciate you saying that because people don't realize how important it is to protect their loved ones. So I'm going to allow everybody else to ask questions. Again, thank you.
You're very welcome, everyone.
Okay. The first person's hands up is Cliff Davies. Cliff?
Good morning, everybody, and good morning, Paula. I just wanted to say, why is there a terrible echo?
That's your end, not us.
Saucy, very saucy. Yes.
Maybe, Chris, if you mute yourself when people are asking questions, maybe we can avoid the echo.
I'm checking right now. Someone else's microphone might be on. That's what I'm checking.
Hello. Well, I just wanted to say a couple of things. One, you're amazing. You're fantastic. This workshop was brilliant. Not only is it great information, but your passion for this work and people who are vulnerable comes across so strong. So I just wanted to applaud you and say how awesome you are. On a side note, we would love to be able to get a copy of the PowerPoint or the slideshow with the link so that we could share it. I work with New York City Child Welfare and ACS in the Developmental Disabilities Unit. I'm a manager. We do a lunchtime learning series where we bring important content to families as well as professionals in the child welfare system, and we would love to invite you to do this workshop at some point in the future if you are interested, because it's fantastic, and there are so many young people who need that connection to a permanent connection to an adult because of their limitations, and that's a big part of the work that we try to do in the city of New York. So I just wanted to say all of that to you, and bravo, because you're awesome. Awesome.
Thank you, Cliff. I paid Cliff to say all that about me, by the way. He got $1 for that. Of course, Cliff, I'd be more than happy to do a presentation for your group. Email me and I will send you the presentation and we can coordinate a time.
Okay. We had someone, Shirley Moses, you had your hand up.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear
Yes.
me? Okay, great. Yes, I was listening to the presentation and it's very good. I've been an elder advocate now for several years and also a disability advocate. I wanted to say, with respect to appointing a guardian, it is very important that parents who have children or siblings who are disabled, it is very important that they actually choose who they want to be their guardian. And I'm speaking from my experience as advocating for the elderly and the vulnerable. If a guardian is not appointed, let's say mom says, well, I may not live for another 2 years. She might say, well, Aunt Mary would be a good choice. If a person is not designated to be the guardian, if it goes to court, the family can lose complete control. And if the court appoints a guardian, it could be an organization who has no familiarity with the disabled. It could be an attorney. And based on my experience of working with many people, we even met with elected officials. As Ms. Paola mentioned, essentially they have access to your assets. And there have been troubling events with respect to this particular situation, and I mentioned Britney Spears. So it's important that you select a guardian who you know and trust, because if you don't, once it goes to court, the court will appoint someone who, frankly speaking, may not have your needs essentially first and foremost. So I think that's important because that's a pitfall of guardianship. Thank you.
Paola, you want to answer that?
I don't think that was a question. I think that was a great comment.
Okay. Well, I'm just making sure.
Thank
Just
you.
want to make sure. I'm going to move, since there's no one hands up, I'm going to move to the questions. Paola, so give me a second as I switch over to questions on the chat. Okay. Nice to know that. Okay, I'm going to start with the because I have the groups. Question one. They saying thank you for this presentation. This is a breath of fresh air. With you breaking it down and explaining it to us, I feel much relief that this will help us to learn more in the near future. Thank you. Paola, you there? Paola?
Yes, I'm here. I'm
Don't
here.
scare me.
Thank you.
Don't scare me there.
I just put myself on mute because I don't want to
No,
echo.
there's no echo on your end. I can hear you loud and clear. There's no echo. When two mics are on, it's fine. It can't be 3 or 4. It has to be 2 only. Do you want to answer that question?
Well, thank you for participating, and I am really glad that I was clear.
Mhm. They're saying you're welcome. Question 2. I have your phone number. What is the best time to call you to speak to you one-to-one?
When you call the office, they're gonna ask you a few questions, and then they're gonna send me a message. From there, we can coordinate a time.
Okay. Okay. Question number 3. I feel like with this presentation, it is changing it is making it more easier what I'm doing. But a question is, I live in a different borough. How come this presentation is not in another borough, or they're not paying close attention to this, taking this seriously? I live.
I'm not sure how to answer that because I do.
Paola, I wasn't finished.
Oh, sorry.
Wasn't finished. Hold that thought. And the reason why I have to break it down, because there's certain confidential I can't say. So you understand? I have to. You know what I mean? I've got to follow the HIPAA law there.
Got it.
I live in a borough that every time I go to this other council, they only worrying about other things, but not working about our disability population.
Do you want me to answer that?
I think this is a Deborah Grive and a Paola well, this is, I think, it's definitely Deborah. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. To the parent who is saying that, first of all, this information can be used anywhere in New York City.
Chris, you do have
That's
to mute
why
yourself.
Paola
It's hard to hear.
gave you the list of all 5 courts that you can do this with. The New York Lawyers of Public Interest works with everyone. Now, I can't and won't comment about the other councils. I know that this is, since I've been doing joint meetings with the Brooklyn Deedy Council for ever since COVID, I also was always working with them because I wanted to make sure families get the right information, but I also want to know that the staff that works with our population knows what's going on. That's why Rose and I asked Paola, but this, you don't have to live in Brooklyn to benefit from this. All she was also saying is you could live in, I'll give an example. I live in Brooklyn and say I have to, but my child's living in the Bronx, then I'll have to set the stuff up in the Bronx. But, wherever if your other council is not answering your questions, you have the right to send an email to the chairperson and asking them why not. And if you don't get the right answer, well, we never say no. Anybody from any other borough can always come. All right? Paola, your turn.
Deb, I just wanted to add, no, this is great. I was going to add to the parent that asked the question or the group that asked the question. When you do go to the other council meeting, like I mentioned earlier, I don't know if this person was on the call when I mentioned earlier that this provider, the committee meetings for provider and families, right? So if you go to another council, as a parent, as a family, you have the right to ask, to put ideas on the agenda. If that's something that you want to be happening in the council that you attend, you can ask for it. I think you have that right. And I think whoever is running that committee will be more than happy to add any agenda items that family might have that they want to discuss in that council.
Rose, to answer your question, and she just answered back, but she wants to keep it private, please. She said that she's actually attending more at this borough because this borough, and she's saying this, that she said this borough is more active and she feels like I'm getting more things accomplished.
Then just coming to our meetings. And as I said, the information can always be shared. If you have issues where you're not sure how to do because you live in a different borough, as Paola says, you can talk to me offline or talk to Rose offline, and we'll be very happy to help you. I don't want to cause any, I don't want to take away anybody's privacy or the HIPAA. So you can do that too.
She thinks she's already saying thank you to you and Rose. So let me move on to this last question. And just a reminder, everyone, if you have additional questions, please use the questions right now. We ask you to hold on to your announcements. So therefore, I can pay attention who's putting in questions and then announcements because it's throwing me off a little. Thank you. Okay. Sorry, I just have to switch over to the chat. Okay, got it. This question is the question is if they go onto your website, Paola, on the saying getting help or anything, if say they want to know what is a good advice to get housing lawyers.
Okay, we do have a little bit of housing assistance. So I would suggest to call the main number and ask to speak with our housing advocate, and then she will direct you whether it's something that we can help you with. If it's not, we will give you a housing direct you which attorneys would be a good housing attorneys for you if that is the case. It depends. What is your issue?
Paola, I have two questions that came in. Actually, one more. I'm not saying the person's name, but they're saying again, it's actually on the main chat area. So this one you can actually read too. And it's saying, thank you, Paola, with your last name, for this email information providing every week.
For the resources. You're very welcome. I'm glad that you are reading it.
Yes. Now the answer to that other question, this one is for us. Actually, this one's for me. To Joy, this is for the transcripts are not always available, but I am going to remind you that right now that the video will be available later on tomorrow. So if somebody wants to watch the video, it is available on the YouTube channel and available on our website, which I will repeat that on my report later on. Okay, we have another question that came in. Not a question, but was a complaint to Miss Martine. Line ... Does that person want to unmute and ask that question, or you want to hold back?
It's a
It's a
compliment.
compliment?
Good morning.
Compliment.
This is Rosia Sumaya. It's a compliment. Ms. Martinez does send an email at the end of the week with a lot of information attached. Thank you.
Mhm. Paola, I think you're getting a fan. I think we're gonna have to soon have to hire a bodyguard for you.
I don't think so. But thank you everyone for participating. This is great. I love to provide information.
Mm-hmm. And
This is Deborah.
mhm.
Now it's my Paola. One, as this is when I'm doing it with this committee, it's with the Brooklyn Beauty Council. But we will ask you with the advisory so we can set up another time where we can repeat and do this again. And also we could do different days or even at an evening or weekend if you want, or we film it in advance and then let parents know, because the information you gave with reference to different types of guardianship, health care proxy is very important to know, because we have, no matter how many times we explain to the families what they have to do and how to look into it, we get the same, I don't know what to do, or they ask us at the last possible minute, and then when you do things in a rush, it doesn't always work that well. So we will be inviting you back again, because as usual, you do it in a way that we all can understand.
When others
So-
are talking,
So,
your mic
all right?
Absolutely. You know where to find me.
Yes, I know where to find you. But we will do this together, because we've been
Sure.
working a long time together, and believe me, I want to make sure that everybody has this information, because it's so important and so needed. So thank you again.
At this time,
You're welcome, everyone.
Paola, just letting you know, we have no more questions at this time.
Well, thank you everyone for coming this morning. And for people who have personal questions, reach out to my office and we can coordinate time to talk. Have a great day, everyone.
Paola,
Thank you,
before,
Paola.
Paola, before you go, to make it easy, since you are the speaker, do you want to do your announcement, anything, or you think that covers it?
No, that's it. If you have any legal issues, New York Lawyers is a free legal organization. Look at our website, see the past work, future work. If we can help you in any way, contact our main number. And if we cannot assist you with your legal issue, then we will provide you with a resource. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, Paola.
You too, Paola. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Bye-bye.
very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. We had a great presentation
Move on to our
with
agenda.
Paola, and now we're going to go back on the agenda. So let's get back to our agenda on the screen. Let's see. What is
Co-chair
it?
reports.
Well, I'll do the advisory. All right. They did release the information in reference to the different types of reimbursement. You can find it on the Advisory Council's website for Brooklyn, or go on to OPWDD's website. We're still working on updating the when parents go to the front door, the information that's given out, so families know where to go, what to do. Also, as I said, our new chairperson, the same day that we're having our meeting, which is, I believe, April 27th, there will be the statewide, but they're limiting how many people can get on. And I want everybody to please be at the Joint Advisory Council. I will be, as usual, I will be doing both. And I will, any information or anything that's updated, I will make sure to get back to everybody. So, as I said, if you have also any concerns or you want to have any subjects that you would like for us to present at either, of course, this committee, because this is very important, because now that we have care managers, care coordination managers instead of MSCs, please email Rose and myself. We want to have people here to speak, to give you the information you needed. So that's something we will keep doing. So with that, Rose, do you have anything you want to bring up?
No, I actually don't. We are looking for agenda topics for our next meetings. I know we're going to be going to the summer very soon. We have a couple more meetings before we end. But any agenda items that people have, any topics that you want to discuss, please feel free to shoot myself or Debbie or Chris an email so we can have the speakers available to provide the information to you all.
Rose, this is Chris. We're going to have the someone from self-direction attending, to be determined.
Yeah, for next meeting.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we should have, because self-direction, you can have it whether you have family support services, whether you live at home, or even if you're living the individual's living in their own apartment, residential. So we should have the self-direction come and do presentations to really update everybody on any new changes that have been coming into the program.
Mm-hmm.
Correct, Rose? So we can do, we would like to do that too.
Yes, so we'll coordinate on that, Deb. We have some
Sure.
tentatively.
Yes, we will. All right. Now, next thing, we did our information, and as you see, the date will be, our next meeting will be May 11th, and we ask everyone to try to get on between 9:30 and 9:45 so we can actually start on time, because we want to make sure that, you see, today, because we did this starting on time, we were able to get to your questions and your concerns quickly when the presentation was done. And now we'll have enough time to also do a little bit more update with Christopher's quick report, but we will also ask agencies. I know you have announcements you'd like to bring in, and we want to hear that. So, Christopher, do you have
Yes, I do.
anything you
Just
want to
need you
bring
to
up?
mute.
No problem.
And good morning, everyone. As Deborah's mentioned, the next joint meeting, which will be April 27th, remind you all to please, as Deborah said, to please get on so we can start on time. We did it last time, and we finished on time. So reminding you, please do that as well. The next meeting for that is April 27th at 9:30. The next Advisory Council Outreach Update, we will have Weenie Schiff will discuss also the budget a little more. And I know she's going to be mentioning a little bit during the the joint meeting, but we'll have her there. So a lot of people have questions, concerns. This is a good time to bring it in there. So therefore, we can remind all our families, agencies, and I say everyone, to have ideas, because we have election coming up. We also have we got to make sure the budget is in there, and other things as well. Now, as a lot of people did not show up last week, and it was sent out on email and it's available on our website, please be advised that this is ordered by MTA, and I'm ordered by MTA as well, is to share this information. As you're aware, starting this summer until 2024, we will be switching all reduced fare Metro cards who have one. The reduced fare Metro card will be upgraded to the new reduced fare Omni. This video and presentation is available on our website on the home page. Now, if you need to update your information, like A, your phone number, B, your home address, C, your name, your last name, as well as an email address, you can get that page one also available on our email on our website. And that information can be sent to not just the mail in the mail, but also send it to the reduced fare vehicle. So therefore, your information is up to date. All this information for contact fare payment procedures are available on that link as well. And to remind everyone, you have the choice of getting the Omni card or the Omni app. That has never been done anywhere in the world. You have an option. If you want the Omni card, that is your choice. Or you want the app on your phone, that is your choice. So all this information is available on that link. And we do want to thank Sarah Berry, who was our speaker with Reginald Barron. And again, that video is available on our website. So remind everyone, Omni will be switching soon, and we will be updating this and reminding you as well. You don't need a video, you don't need a photo at this time. Now, I am going to remind everyone again and again for this. Everyone on the train and on the bus must still wear a mask. Doesn't matter if you've been vaccinated. I've already been vaccinated. I still have to wear a mask on the bus, on the train. The city has no say. This is a state and federal regulation. You must wear a mask on the train, on the bus, and on Access-a-Ride. If you don't, the fine will be $50. And remind you, if you see something, say something. You don't have to go after that person with not wearing a mask, because anything goes wrong with him, that will be his fault. Now, if you want to make a complaint like a bus driver is not doing the mask mandate, or you don't see signs on the buses, please put that into the new mta.info/customer feedback. That is very important, because remember, you're also the eyes and ears of New York. And I'll repeat this again. If you see something, say something. Do we have any questions on what I say today? And I'm checking the chat at the same time. And forgive me, everyone, that my camera's not on because I'm multitasking today. No questions there. Rose or Debbie, do you have additional question?
No, Chris, no question.
Okay.
No, Chris, no question.
Okay. Well, that means I did my job then on that part. Now, before I start announcements and everything else, I remind you again, and I'm going to remind a lot of people claim that they email me, but some don't. Please email me no later than this Friday for any service openings. That could be housing, trainings, events. You want me to put it on. I do put it on, but I do not put no fundraising on. That's a violation. All right. Now, I know we had elected official representatives in here today's meeting. They can please unmute and please identify yourself. I know we have one from Matilda's office here. Anthony, you're here? I'm guessing, no, he's actually gone for the day. Okay. So if does anyone have any announcements, please put your hand up, or please, so I know who's going first. We have no fighting on here. Sandy Neighbor.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody.
Sandy Naper from the DAB
This is Sandy Naper from the DAB
I hope you're having a great
Community
day.
Network. I hope you're having a great day.
Three workshops
We've
coming
got
up.
3 workshops coming up. Spanish interpretation will be provided for all of them. And to register for them, you can email Family Connect at adaptcommunitynetwork.org or call 718-436-7979 extension 704. Now, the first one we're having is tomorrow, and it's not too late to register. It's called Play and Language, How to Facilitate Language Through Play. and it's going to be tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Harlow Rudolph, a pediatric speech and language pathologist, will be our speaker. And then the next one we're having is Tuesday, April 26th, 10 a.m. till 12 p.m. And that's for parents of little ones or professionals who are teaching little ones. And it's called Potty Training for Kids with Sensory Differences. Lindsay Beal, a very good occupational therapist and author, will be our speaker. And the next one after that is on May 11th. That's a Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And that's called Feeding and Sensory Issues in Early Childhood, the Picky Eater. So I hope you'll be able to attend, and please spread the word. Thanks very much. Have a great day.
Thank you, Sandy. Carrie Banks.
Hi, all. Thank you, Chris. I wanted to let people know about the programs that we have coming up. We have our monthly one-to-one assistance that's on the first Monday of every month. We have assistance navigating the disability systems with Ruth DeRoma. There's information about that in the chat. We also have a workshop coming up, probably not for this group, but tell your friends, on an overview of the transition from preschool services to school age services. And finally, we have a workshop for Spanish-speaking families on autism. It's just called Autismo. It will be in Spanish. It will be facilitated in Spanish. And it will be a basic overview. YAI is helping us out with this program, and we're very grateful for that. So we have those things coming up. Chris, I will send you all the information. But finally, check out our website for these events and others like our virtual concerts. We have some great virtual concerts every other Saturday. They're a lot of fun. They're free, and come check them out. I'll put a link to our webpage in the chat for people, as well as my contact information.
Carrie, not so fast.
Thank
we
you.
have a question on the chat, on the private end.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
and there was
Okay.
another question. The person couldn't be here, but let me answer this question.
Sure.
Carrie, the
Sure.
group is wants me to say thank you to you because they have attended your workshops, and some of them are not from your this borough, but they
Oh,
said
great.
the reason they said is
Oh, great.
yours is your library, and you can please pass it to your boss. This is I'm reading, so please understand. They're appreciating what you've been giving them the right information, helping them out, and you know that some of them are actually here today, so they wanted to say thank you, Carrie Banks. So Carrie, we do want to thank you also because the attendance for all the 3 meetings right now we have been increasing from not just from you but everyone else. But we do want to
Great.
thank you also, Carrie.
Great.
Well, thank you.
Mm.
And if
Well,
there are
thank
things you
you.
think we should be doing
And
and we're
if there are
not,
things you think we should be
go
doing
ahead and
and we're
email me
not,
and let me know.
go ahead and
Well,
email
I'm glad
me
you
and let
said
me
that,
know.
Carrie, because that's the next question.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna love this one.
Oh,
Carrie, a
okay.
lot of people are asking me, and I know Debbie is, oh, not Debbie, I'm sorry, not Deborah Graff, another Deborah,
Mhm.
is asking, are you going to be planning to do sign language training again?
Not right now.
Not right
But I
now.
think I'm hoping over the summer.
But I think I'm hoping over the
I'll
summer.
reach out.
I'll
That was a
reach out.
partnership with
That was a
Adapt
partnership
Community
with
Network.
Adapt
So
Community Network.
let's see if we can get that back in gear.
So
The
let's see if we can
reason
get
why
that
I'm
back in gear.
asking is, and this is not from staffs,
Mhm.
I have been getting parents and individuals
Mhm.
asking me this question because they want to do they want to practice sign language.
Mhm.
So just letting you know.
Mhm.
And Sandy, if you
Chris,
yes,
if they
If
have a little
Chris,
one,
If they have a
under the
little
age
one,
of
under the
6 or
age of
so, we're doing a
6
couple
or
of
so,
story times, sign
we're doing
language
a
story
couple of story
times.
times, sign
And
language story
again, I'll put
times.
the
And
link
again, I'll put
to
the
the
link
website
to
on
the
chat, and you can find out information.
website on chat, and you can
It,
find out
it's
information
not
there.
a
But
lesson. It's just a story time
it's
in
not a
sign language.
lesson. It's
Yeah.
just a story time in
And
sign
it's only
language.
open to adults with
A-
children,
And it's
not
only
adults
open
by
to adults
themselves.
with children,
No,
not
I'm
adults
glad
by
you're saying that,
themselves.
Carrie, because I understand what you're saying, and you're absolutely correct. Because these are for the, the little, the young.
Little ones, yeah.
I'm gonna say this
Little
word because
ones,
I'm trying to
yeah.
get everyone to remember this word: early intervention children as well.
Mhm.
You do have them as well.
Absolutely, Chris.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the reason why I'm
Absolutely,
saying that
Chris.
because I'm a strong advocate for that, and I'm still continuing that. So thank you, Carrie, and
Thank you.
and let me. Oh, we got
Thank
hands
you.
up, so let me move on to the other hands. Carrie, thank you so much. Let me see. Oh, Care Design, do you have an announcement?
Hi, good morning, all. No, I don't.
Hi, good morning, all. No, I
I
don't. I don't have an additional announcement
No
at this
announcement from
time.
Care Design. Anything new we should know?
regarding services,
OPWD changed the form. We no longer
signature from the parents.
require a signature from the parents to apply for services.
For this was
And the purpose for this was to expedite the process. They were no longer accepting electronic signatures, so we had to mail it to the family members or meet them in their home, collect the signatures, and that would delay the process. So that's something that is good that is happening for care managers now. But maybe good for families to know that they no longer have to sign
initial waiver request.
the
Correct,
initial
'cause
waiver
that can
request.
cause somebody stealing someone's signature.
Yeah, it only requires the care manager signature.
Yeah, it only requires the care manager signature. That's something that it is new
Understood
now.
that. But at least that is actually an announcement. So you did get an announcement in there.
Mhm.
Thank you, Miss Sanchez. Let me move on. Nick from PHP, do you have an announcement?
Hello.
And welcome back.
Hello. I'm Nick Labruna from Partners Health Plan. Oh, thank you. In 2022, PHP had updated our dental provider network. So we now use DentaQuest for our dental needs, which has greatly improved our network of dental providers. If anyone has any questions about PHP and joining our plan and the benefits, feel free to contact me at 646-771-3184. I could put my
And Nick,
info
can you
again in the
please
chat.
email me that information because that is important to put that in to the website information. Because right now, as you know, we're dealing with a lot of individuals with trying to get to a dentist or, with the issue that Deborah mentioned before you were on the DL. That's all I'm going to say. So we want to make sure that's, it's on the record. It's on our end. So therefore, they know where to contact. Thank you.
Okay, will do.
Does Roselle, do you have an announcement from your agency?
The only announcement I have, I think I mentioned that DCS does have residential opportunity. We have a partnership with OPWDD and OMH together for individuals looking for supportive housing. So these are individuals with a history of homelessness. We do have an opening for those individuals. There's, I think, about 5 or 6 more beds open.
Okay. Thank you, Rose. Rose, can you can you email me that, please, as well, so I make sure it's out to date and on the website?
Will do.
Thank you. Anyone else have an announcements for the this will be the last call? Since no one else has an announcement, which means that's a good sign. On that note, Rose and Debbie, do you want to say anything before we disappear?
So just wanted to thank everyone for being part of today's meeting. I wish you all a happy Passover, happy Easter, happy Good Friday. Enjoy. And we are looking forward to seeing you again on May 11th. Same time, same place.
Yes, and now I want to reiterate, I thank everybody for coming. I want to wish everybody happy Passover, happy Easter, Good Friday, Ramadan, whatever. And we look forward to seeing you next month, May 11th, but also at the joint meeting on Wednesday, April 27th. Everybody have a great day and stay safe.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.